Severe the Kaya Jawa, Emanenya Wuya, Saumi Ramaya, Emawure, Nayem Bible, Sufra Unyamye, Sama, Sayanyame Ba, Nabiebe, Sufra Unyamye.
In this section, we're going to dive a little deeper into chord substitution. So I'll be on key F for this lesson. I'll make sure I keep everything very simple here. Just make sure you like this video and subscribe to this channel. So chord substitution is a technique of using a chord in place of another in a progression. So in this case, there are two different chords that shares one or more notes here, all right? So let's take two different chords here. Let's take F, A and C, all right? And another chord, C, E, and G. So chord A, chord B, Do, Mi, So, and So, Ti, Re. If you are to compare the notes of these two different chords, you can see that this C note can be found here and it can also be found here. So these two chords shares one note in common. So in a case where we are playing a song and we are supposed to play those, sometimes you can replace it with a So because they shares a note in common. That's what we call chord substitution. Just replacing a chord with another chord that shares one or more notes with it. Let's take this chord for instance. Let's take D minor on the left, E diminished on our right, La, Do, Mi, this is a La chord, this is a T chord. If you have to be comparing the notes, La, Do, Mi, Ti, Re, Fa, you can see that there's no relation between these two different chords. So these chords are not substitute to each other. That's all for chord substitution. Now we have different forms of chord substitution. We have diatonic chord substitution, secondary dominant chord substitution. We have diminished and diminished seventh chord substitution, and etc. So now let's focus on diatonic chord substitution here. In my previous videos about diatonic passing chords, I explained everything about diatonic chords. So you can watch that video via the link in the description below. Let's take this progression for instance. A progression like Do, La, Fa. See that? Do, La, Fa. With this progression, we are coming from Do to La, then to Fa. You see that? So, if you are to be applying diatonic chord substitution, this is our first chord, Do chord. We need to look out for other chords that can substitute to this Do chord. So to do that, you just hang over to this Do chord. If you compare Re to Do, you can see that they don't share any note. Compare Do to Mi, they share two notes in common. So you can say that Do chord and Mi chord is a substitute to each other. If you are to compare the same Do chord to Fa chord, you can see that Do shares one note with Fa chord, alright, that's F. And also if you are to compare it with So chord, Do with So, we can see that they share only one note in common, that's the C note. Comparing Do with D minor, you can see that it shares two notes with it, that's F and A. You see that? So Do and La is also a substitute. Comparing Do with T there's no relation between do and ti. So that's so we can summarize that do chord is a substitute to mi, and also a substitute to fa, and a substitute to so and la. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So this means that in a situation where we are supposed to play a do chord, sometimes you can play a mi chord instead, or fa chord instead, or so chord, or better still, a la chord instead. It depends on the circumstance. So with diatonic chord substitution, we only replace a chord with a similar diatonic chord. All right. So with this progression, do, la, fa, you see that if you have to be substituting some of the chords here, let's take for instance, we are substituting this do chord here. There's one trick that I mostly use. If you have to be playing in normal terms, if you play our do chord on our right, we play something like do, so do, that's a F perfect fifth chord on our left hand. So something like this. We can substitute our left hand, all right? We can substitute our left hand chords. So instead for us to play the same do chord on our left hand, we can substitute either with mi or so, or better still la. You can see that, or sometimes even fa, because all the chords that I'm playing on my left hand are substitute to do. Now, with this progression, let's assume we substitute do with mi, all right? So you maintain our do chord on our right hand, but substitute it with a mi chord on our left. So with the la chord, let's assume we are substituting our left hand with a do chord instead. So you're going to be playing la on our right hand, but play a do chord on our left hand. So you know, I've substituted la on my left hand to a fa chord on my right hand. So something like this. La, la, la. So with that substitution, this is how it will sound like. You see that? So this sounds more basic, but with what I did, la, 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 it sounds more mature than the first one that we played. So this diatonic chord substitution, I mostly focus on my left hand. All right. Now let's take this song from maybe Archery. Ebia di kenjawa manonya oya asa o mere maya ma onre eya botre sufre unyami o sa omwa o sa ye nyami pa ebe ye. So you see that the first arrangement is so to fa, then to do. Now, if you had been playing so on our right hand with the same so on our left, it will be sounding more boring. So to do that, we can apply diatonic chord substitution. So we just take our so chord, look out for other chords that can substitute with this same so chord. It can be either mi, ti, or re. So now, so now we're going to substitute our left hand with a T chord. Something like this. So this is a T chord. So instead for us to play the same so chord on left, this time around we are playing a T instead. Our next chord is going to be a fa chord. So we can substitute either with re or la, or better still do. Then for the fa chord, I'm going to substitute with a la chord on my left. Here the kenjawa manonya oya. See that? Here the kenjawa manonya oya. So with the do chord, I'll substitute it with a so chord on my left hand instead. You see that? So instead for me to play do on my right and play the same do on my left, I'll be playing so on my left instead of do on my left. Okay? So the whole thing will be Obia di Kenja wa Manonya oya. You see that? We can expand your left hand. Obia di Kenja wa Manonya oya. So I hope you are getting the concept now. Those two friends we name you. Samoa, ye nyame pa, baby. So the first chord I have the re chord, to do chord, to so chord, to mi, la, re, so, do. So fre unyamio, samwa o, ye nyame pa, ebe ye. Now, if you have to be applying substitutions here, our first chord is re. So fre unyamio. So if you have to be substituting a re on the left hand, we have several options here. We have T, we have Fa, we have La. These are different options that we have. So this time around, I will choose Fa as a substitute on my left over a re chord on my right. You see that? So I have different thing on my left and different stuff on my right. So fre unyamio. So here I'm coming to a do, alright. So I'll substitute with a so chord instead on my left. So fre unyamio. So you know, from re to do to so. So on the so chord I played a T as a substitute on my left. When I played mi, I played do on my left instead. When I played la, I played fa on my left. When I played re, I played la. Then when I play so, I play T, then back to my one chord.
Sebia di kaya jawa, emane nyawuya.